Well, hello everyone to this steamy afternoon. We've had some rain this morning and now the sun is coming out and it's just getting really, really hot and very steamy. And as I prepare to start my sabbatical at the beginning of August, I thought I would just do a few minute walkabout and show you what was going on here. Kids are starting to get out again in the neighborhood after the rain this morning. So there's definitely activity. So here's what's going on. I think the Verbena bonariensis is looking spectacular. This never materialized last year. It never really came to fruition and did what I was hoping it would do, but it is starting to perform now, and it matches really, really well with the other lavender things in the garden, with the Veronica and with the Scabiosa and with all of the different salvias. So I'm really pleased. I'm pleased with that, and I'm pleased with all the pollinators it's attracting. Lots and lots of bees this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. And on the east side, the roses that were really being decimated by Japanese beetles before are now blooming again, and because of the little bit of rain we've gotten, they look a lot more fresh, and they match beautifully, I think, with the white wedding hydrangeas in the distance. And interestingly, excuse my hose, also the white encore azaleas that are blooming at an unexpected time. But nevertheless, the blooms are appreciated. And then, as you recall, I continued that white wedding drift in front of the hollies further down towards the berm. And one thing I'm going to do, you can see here that I've got some tufts of pink pentas, and I did cut back all of my nepeta, but I've got some pink pentas that you can kind of see in here, and they're squished. They're squished in with the Salvia gregae and up against the butterfly candy. And so we're supposed to have cooler temps this week. And in anticipation of that, I think I'm going to move these squished pentas out. And by the way, they're pretty tough. I'll make sure to get a good root ball. And around to the foreground where they will be just along the edge of the brick on the upper terrace. My friend Carlina Elizabeth started some dahlias from seed for me, and they are beginning to bloom within the confines of these cages from my QVC line. Sadly, those are not available anymore, but you can see that there's a dahlia here, and then if we walk over this way, you can see that darker pink dahlia in the distance. And you can see this one here in this cage that is yet to bloom. But look at all of those buds on the little lavender butterfly candy that's behind it. And then something kind of unexpected that I think really looks spectacular, and that is at the base of this Eugenia. And by the way, it's in one of those black plastic pots that I was singing the praises of in a recent post. It's that plastic pot with the Eugenia is set inside this large concrete pot, and I love the way the sedums. This is Sedum Pure Joy, and another one that I'm not familiar with. I got a cutting from someone, and it looks beautiful, I think, spilling out over the edge. From this angle, looking to the porch, you can see how pretty that verbena looks, I think, from both perspectives. I like it because I love the transparency it gives the garden. The purple blooms not only hover above everything else that's in bloom, but because of the nature of their growth and the quality of their stems, you can kind of see through them I have some everwhite agapanthus that are blooming, and some white cleome. And next year I'm going to do something different with the agapanthus. I think I'm going to treat them like my eugenia, and I'm going to put them in some pots, and I'm going to put them in the greenhouse and see if they can put on just some stronger blooms for next year. That eugenia is really getting out of control. I need to give it a prune and make it stand up and fly right. I've really been impressed with how well this white lantana has performed, and these white New Guinea impatiens. This paler pink, I think it was some kind of lantana lemonade, it just hasn't performed as well. It doesn't seem to bloom as abundantly, and I like those that really bloom their heads off. There's another tuft, that Verbena bonariensis, looking up towards the east side. And there's that beautiful Oklahoma sky there. I've been talking about it on my Instagram page, and you guys might want to check it out. I've been comparing it to the skies of Scotland. All the boxwood, especially the better boxwood, I mean, boy, is it happy. Very, very happy. And this is a really beautiful view, I think, of the sky in the distance. And this is what passers-by see as they walk by on the east side. It's a perspective I guess maybe I don't show enough. The orange rocket barberry and the kaleidoscope abelia are beautiful. Here's some more of that purple sedum, which is a wonderful color echo with the barberry. And then all of these zinnias, all of these came back from seed. I hadn't realized I'd let so many of them go to seed. But all of these along the wall, I didn't have to plant them, and most of them are in my color palette of white and pink and purple. Look at that gorgeous one right there. Now there's some outlier colors. I've got an orange one here and some yellows, and probably what I'll do is just cut a bouquet of those and bring them inside. I love the way the pinks are almost the perfect color to go along with the pink of the tall phlox. And I think it looks beautiful with the foliage of the Obsession Andina. And there's a beautiful Envy zinnia right there, that limey green. The apple blossom roses really took off this year, and I need to do some deadheading, but then I'm also wondering if right now I want to see what rose hips might develop before fall. And some of you pointed out from my last video that I was hurrying up the calendar, that it wasn't late summer, it was still midsummer. And you were correct. I think I just, at that point, after all of the 100-degree temperatures, was a little bit over it, and maybe I was wishing my life away. But look at how the branches of those apple blossom roses are just, I mean, they're cascading everywhere. And pretty soon, indeed, they will cascade over the wall. I love their pink. I love the way the sunshine ligustrum looks up there. I'm letting it go flouncy. And then as it progresses down towards the south, it captures all of the pinks from the zinnias and the phlox. Probably the best performers of the summer have been these moondance hydrangeas. And they did indeed do what I hoped they would do, and that is be absolutely spectacularly beautiful in front of the evergreens, in front of the arborvitae. And indeed they have. You can see there, one of the encore azaleas is blooming. Now, as soon as they bloom in the recent heat, some of the flowers burn up and I need to come back and remove them. Something else I'm going to tackle, I think at some of your suggestions, was the ajuga, the Bronze Beauty ajuga has just gone and performed over the top, much to my delight. And what I'm probably going to do is take it and this fall continue it down along the walkway towards the back gate. And even without irrigation down there, I think it'll be fine. I need to do a lot of pruning and limbing up on that snowball viburnum. It is really looking unruly and getting a little bit out of hand. I want to give a shout out to my friend Helen that went on the Scotland trip with us. Helen and Deborah and Mary and Ruth. It was so fun going on that trip with you guys. And I got Helen's present today in the mail. It's so sweet. I will be showing it to you, as I am now showing you my pumpkin. Let me give you a pumpkin update. Absolutely the most fun thing for me this summer, because finally some of the gourds are persisting, and you can see, I think you can see down in there, look at that big knotty gourd. And I've actually got several of those little baby ones. It's hard for me to point them out to you because then I'd have to move the foliage. But you can see there's what looks like I don't know if it is or not, but it looks like a Jack B. Little pumpkin in there, or maybe a baby boo. Baby boo to you, I'm not sure. Lots and lots of bees and pollinators out. I haven't seen as many butterflies recently, but maybe those will come a little bit later. And it is definitely a cottage garden. And I know some of you think that it's overplanted and that there's just too much going on, but I must tell you that that is the essence of a cottage garden, which was very much affirmed for me when we went to Scotland. The density of the plantings is one of the characteristics of this kind of garden. I promised you that after cutting back the window box foliage, the petunias, and everything else that was spilling out over the edge, that it would very, very soon start to bloom again. And look there, it's already pumping out blooms and pumping out more foliage, spilling out over the edge. And in another week, it will be almost as full as it was prior to my pruning it back. You can see there, look at all those new buds, those new petunia buds. So if the temperatures do indeed calm down a bit this week, then it should be really beautiful. One thing that has been a stellar performer, and I'm taking a note of it, though not necessarily the color. The color of these periwinkles was a little bit too strident for me. I might prefer something that's a little, I don't know, a little more pink and a little less red. But it definitely looks beautiful with the diamond frost euphorbia. And sadly, these obelisks are not available on my QVC line anymore, but I will try to find a link for you guys. The backyard is doing what I want it to do, and it's just kind of holding its own. All of the topiaries are putting out lots and lots of growth, and I need to do a day where I do nothing but prune them back, all of the myrtle topiary, because they have been very happy in this heat. They really love it. And I love how big the boxwood balls are getting here. I did take out some of the boxwood that was in here, and I added a couple more pieces of flagstone. I knew this would happen as I saw what thrived and what didn't. For example, the ajuga is almost thriving too much, and I will transplant it to other areas. But I knew that I would definitely be moving things around as I saw what thrived where, what was getting overgrown, my assessment of placement. Finally, all of this verbena, this red verbena that I planted along the edge, it is starting to bloom in the surround of the patio. And I really love the way it looks. My tomatoes are slow, acting up a bit. I'm hoping they will actually put on some fruit pretty soon. I've got peppers. I also have zinnias back here. You can see one with its head nodding down. You can look here and see how beautiful the gray foliage looks in the garden. No fruit on the figs yet, but they're growing and looking beautiful. And I think next year what I'll just do is I will protect them permanently over the winter, like I did the Chef's Choice rosemary that came back so vigorously and so beautifully. And I'll just protect the figs, because look at how great this rosemary looks. Really beautiful. And I like it with that pop of red from the verbena. As I think I told you in a previous video, I am getting ready to reorganize all of my outdoor storage. By the way, these are on Prime today, the storage shed and those storage boxes. You can see that I'm kind of in the process. What's also on Prime today is that Windex. And I did move some of my begonias over to that table where they weren't getting quite as much sun. But boy, I think all of this, I think my steps will be beautiful come this fall. Now, some of you are saying, why did I put up railings if I couldn't access the railings when I walked up and down the steps? Well, I can. I can hold on to those railings just fine, and so can hubs, even with those plantings along the edge. And then up here, so amazed at the performance of the Vater boxwood. And can I just say, I think it's definitely the toughest boxwood in my repertoire of boxwoods. And then I'll close by showing you these gorgeous begonias that I took cuttings of last fall and just replanted them this year. And I think they look beautiful in this window box planter, one of which I have for my kiddos up in Denver, and I think they're going to try to use one as a planter box on the front of their house. So that's today's Wednesday walkabout. Stuart wasn't here. I just wanted to throw something up here. As I announced, I will be taking a sabbatical in August, starting August 1st. And when we come back in September, we will be back with this channel. Nothing will change, and we'll also be back with another channel that will have things that are a little bit different for those of you that want different kinds of content. If you don't like that type of style and life challenge kind of things, and you may not want to follow it, but you can just stick with me here in the garden. Take care, you guys.